Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So welcome. Welcome to First Online. This is the very first online workshop we have ever done. So I'm very pleased to know all of you guys are here with us today. I think this is really a great opportunity for everyone to learn. And for you guys to learn and also for us to be able to teach. This is our very first time, so please bear with us if there are any technical issues. We would like to first acknowledge all the teams that help us get this first online set up. We actually started setting this up just 4 days ago. So it's really amazing that we got all of this set up and all of you guys are here today. We really want to thank USRA and STEM Action. So thank you very much to all those teams that came and helped get this set up. It's really amazing that we're all here today. So without further ado, here's our workshop, how to kickstart your FTC season. Let's get started. So here's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to start off with a quick introduction of who we are and who our team is. Then we're going to talk about what makes FTC so important to us and why we think it's such a great program. And then we think a lot of you guys are probably from FLL, so we're going to talk a little bit about what is the differences between FLL and FTC, especially if you're an FLL team coming into FTC. And then we'll go into the specifics about what FTC is, and then how can you become a successful FTC team. And then hopefully we'll have about 20 minutes at the end of the workshop for any questions you may have. So, quick introduction. Hi, everybody. My name is Heather. I am a junior this year. I actually did 4 years of FLL before I joined FTC 3 years ago. I am Team Allman Robotics Mechanical Design Lead. And this year, I'm really honored to have been awarded the Dean's List Finalist Award from FTC.
Hi, my name's Aisha, and I'm currently a sophomore. I did FLL for 3 years and FTC for 3 years as well. And I'm the engineering notebook lead on Allman Robotics, and I'm also a Dean's List semi-finalist.
Awesome. So just some quick technical things we want to go over just to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, so we cannot actually see the Zoom chat room. It's being monitored by our technician, Samuel. Yeah, he's over there. So if you have any technical issues, you can type in the chat and he'll try and help you out. But keep in mind, this is our first time. This is our first workshop. So we might have some problems as well. So please bear with us. And okay, yeah. So we have a website called Slido. So we want everybody to, Sam, can you put the link in the chat? So we want everybody to click on this link and join our Slido. And then if you haven't already, and you can ask us any questions, we'll be able to see it from Slido. And oh, we already have one question.
Yeah, so just to make things clear, we cannot see what's going on in the Zoom chat room. So we're going to be using Slido to see any questions that you may have. We can only see the questions on Slido. So please, if you have questions, ask them on Slido. The event link should be posted in the Zoom chat room, or you can enter the event code, which is on the slide, so Q470. We already have a really great question, is record the presentation. So we are actually recording the question. We are actually recording the presentation, so no need to prepare. So without further ado, we're gonna start. So our team started 3 years ago. We came into our first year with absolutely no knowledge. Our skill was literally a blank slate. However, every year we improve rapidly. We learn a completely new set of skills every season. And we believe what is unique about our team is that our success is not just because we're good engineers or because we're just good a good robotics team. It's because we can improve every single year. And we truly believe that not only we're improving every year, but our improvement is really exponential. And so what we want to talk about today is how you can do the same thing, and maybe even better. So,
actually, me and Heather, we started on an FLL team together. And we know that a lot of you guys who are watching also did FLL and are moving up. So we have a poll. Yeah, we have a poll for you guys on Slido. So you have to do it on your computer.
Samuel, if you could start the poll we have prepared, and if everyone could go on Slido and answer this poll. This is going to be this is just for a little bit of practice of using Slido. Okay.
We can go on Slido and bear with us, guys.
Sorry, we're having a little technical issues. Here we are. Slido. Cool. So let's take a look at our poll so far. So it looks like a lot of you are all. So it looks like we have a lot of people from. We have a lot of people from FLL and planning to start an FTC team. So perfect. That's sort of what happened to us. You're an FLL team. We started an FTC team. There's a lot of rookies. Nice to meet you. Completely new to FIRST. So this is really interesting. This is good to know. So that was just a little bit of practice. I hope that was fun for everybody. We're gonna get back to our actual presentation now. Cool. So,
all right, here, cool. Yeah. So first things first, why is FTC so important? FTC is basically like professional engineering, but at the high school level. And a lot of the skills that you learn through FTC can like directly apply to the real world. For example, you learn skills such as public speaking. And here in the picture, you can see our team speaking to the Maryland Senate. And you also learn problem solving. And this is us at the Single Day Design Challenge. And you also learn engineering skills. This is a picture of our CAD. And actually our CAD lead, Samuel, he did not know CAD at all before starting FTC, but he was able to learn it all through CAD. He was able to learn all of this through participating in FTC. And as you can see, he's improved a lot, and like he was able to create this, which is pretty amazing. And lastly, entrepreneurship skills. This is Samuel and Heather presenting at an entrepreneurship contest. And all of these skills, we've sort of picked them up subconsciously just through doing FTC. It's not really something that you learn all at once. It's something that you gradually learn. And FTC is just like such a great way to gain all of these skills. And also a really awesome thing about FTC is that you can like really bond with your team and do a lot of fun things together. This is us at Chipotle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like really close friends, and like it's really nice to hang out as a team. And also the feeling of success in the competition is really wonderful. This picture is from the Maryland State Championships, and this was right after they announced that we would be advancing to Worlds. And it was just such an amazing moment. We were all like crying, and a lot of teams came over to congratulate us. And it was like such an amazing moment. And these memories and the impact from FTC lasts a lifetime.
And then lastly, what we think is really something we have to stress from FTC is that anybody can be successful in FTC. We started as a team with no experience at all. So we believe really, if you're a team out there, or if you're one of those people that chose, I am completely new to First, First is for anyone. If you're unsure, FTC, you can be successful.
So we know from the poll that a lot of you guys are moving up from FLL. So I just want to point out that FTC is basically just another step up from FLL. And FLL lays a lot of the groundwork for FTC. And the skills you learn from FLL can be directly applied to skills that are needed as part of FTC. For example, the core values, they remain the same through all the levels of First. And ambitious professionalism is something that's really important. And you also learn skills such as teamwork and communication. And through the project, you learn how to come up with innovative solutions and also how to connect with mentors and professionals in the STEM community, which is seriously important in FTC, and we'll get more into that later. And of course, through the robot, you learn engineering skills such as design, robot game strategy, and the format of the competition. Okay, so FTC in general, it's split into two categories, outreach and robot. And there's two ways that the judges will be able to assess your performance in these two categories. And one of these ways is the engineering notebook. And this engineering notebook it's a really big part of FTC. And we see a lot of rookie teams actually overlook it a little bit. And I just really want to stress this. Of course, I'm a little biased. I'm the engineering notebook lead. But this is our engineering notebook from the past season. This is actually half of it. But basically, the engineering notebook is where you document everything, your entire season, all of your robot designs, your failures, your successes, everything you do for outreach, even your business, how you manage your budget and your team. And basically every single thing, your whole journey throughout the season is documented in this engineering notebook. And the judges will be able to look at it. And through that, they'll be able to see what you've been doing behind the scenes, not at the competition. And of course, another way that the judges will be able to see your performance is through your actual robot performance at the competition.
Which is not that important. So now we're going to talk about a little bit how FTC works, because it is quite different from FLL. So if you're from FLL, you're used to having just one tournament. In FTC, you're actually allowed 2 to 3. So rookie teams are allowed to have 3 tournaments, which means you get 3 chances to go to this next level, which is the state championships. And the reason why here I say in-state is because you can actually compete out of state, but we can get into that later. And in FTC, every time you go to a tournament, your ultimate goal is always to advance to the next stage. And so how it works in FTC is each team at each tournament will be awarded some award, and then the top awards are the teams that will advance to the next stage. And these types of awards, there are actually 3 different types of awards. One is the Engineering Notebook Award, and that makes up the majority of the awards, which is why we like to stress Engineering Notebook so much, is because in order to advance, you have to have an Engineering Notebook. Secondly is the Robot Performance Award. So this is if your robot performed well or your robot won the tournament, then you'll also be able to advance. And then finally, the Inspire Award is sort of like the Champions Award in FLL, but it's if you have, it's grading your team on an overall scale. So if your team is great at outreach, you have great robot design, you'll be a likely contender for the Inspire Award. But what we want to emphasize is that all of these awards have their own specific criteria, which means you can advance through either having a good robot or having a good engineering notebook or just having outreach. So if you're a rookie team, this is really important because on your first year, you're not going to be good at everything. So what you should do is play to your strengths. look, so right here is the advancement criteria. What is your team really good at on your first year, and play to that one award. And that's going to be the best way to advance to the next stage. And we really want to focus on, again, engineering notebook, because all these awards require an engineering notebook. So next thing is, now that we've gone over sort of how FTC advancement kind of works, we're going to talk about how can you as a team succeed? What can you do to make sure your season runs smoothly?
Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is have some sort of structure and organization to your team. And this diagram here is an example of how we on Almond Robotics organize ourselves. Of course, this is all going to depend on the size of your team, but something that's really important for organization is that you have someone in charge of these three categories, which are mechanical, software, and engineering notebook. And I want to stress the engineering notebook role because you really need someone to be in charge of the engineering notebook, because if no one's taking charge of it, then chances are that no one on the team is really going to want to do it. I mean, it is a pretty daunting task. Nobody of course, doing the robot or coding seems a lot more exciting, but the engineering notebook, is where all the awards are coming from. So it's really important to have someone that's in charge of that, who is making sure that the engineering notebook stays updated and making sure that everyone's working on it. And also other roles on the team, these can be delegated based on people's personal interests. You can have people, for example, like sub-team leaders. For example, Samuel is our CAD team lead, as you can see here. So he has a really big interest in doing CAD. So he's in charge of that on our team. And yeah, but we have Heather as our mechanical team lead, and Ronnie as our software team lead, and I'm the notebook lead. So just make sure you cover those three categories in terms of organization.
So next is mentorship. So this is mentorship is sort of the secret to how we improve so much, because we would never be anywhere close to where we are now without all the great mentors that have helped us along the way. And especially for a rookie team, your number one goal really is to get great connections with your mentors, because they're the people who really push your team forward. So here we have two types of mentors. One is mentors from other FTC teams or other teams in the FIRST community. These are people who are really experienced with building robot, perhaps, or engineering notebook outreach, and they can really help you with the FTC game. And to get these, we want to emphasize that when you go to your tournaments, you have to be socializing with the other teams, always stay in contact, become friends with other teams. That's the best way to really get their attention and really have them help you. And especially if you're an FTC, every single FTC team is always super happy to help. I know for us, if someone asks us for help, we're always so honored. We're like, oh my gosh, of course we will help you. And that's just the spirit of FIRST, is going out and helping other people. So really never be afraid to ask for any help. We have sort of like a FTC Discord server. That's how we ask for help a lot of times. And then finally, it's always important to make sure you appreciate your mentors, because they put in so much work. One way we appreciate our mentor is we nominated our mentors for a Compass Award, which is an award that's granted to a really helpful mentor, and it's awarded at the state championships. And then secondly, the other type of mentor is someone from the expert community. So these are people who are not related to FIRST, but are really expert in their own fields. So maybe it's like a professional engineer or a professional communications or marketing or outreach expert. These are mentors that you won't meet as often. For us, probably like monthly or twice a year. But what's really important about these mentors is not only they can help you with your own subject matter, but they help you connect to other mentors, other mentors, as in maybe sponsorships or grants or something like that. And lastly, I want to state that anybody can be a mentor. I mean, sure, like we have PhD mentors, but there might be mentors out there that haven't even graduated high school that are way better. Sorry, anyway. And then the best way to get mentors is go out there and socialize. This is go participate in different STEM events and meet people in person, get their contact information. And that's really important because people in the expert community are really busy. They're not going to just answer an email from a random robotics team. You should go up to them, explain who you are and what you're doing, and that's the easiest way. So mentorship, very important.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into how you guys can do outreach within your community. Outreach is really important in FTC, and it's important to do a lot of it. So there's 3 different ways that you can do outreach. You can connect with the STEM community, you can promote first, and you can collaborate with other first teams. So some of the ways that we connect with our local STEM community, one of the ways is that we've created this program called Hello Robot, where we give out these small robotics kits to underprivileged communities. And another thing we do is we attend lectures held by experts in STEM fields. And we also have attended tours of engineering companies to see the real life applications of FTC. And in terms of promoting first, we are coaching an FLL junior and an FLL team. And this is especially really good if you've moved up from FLL. You already have the experience and knowledge to be a coach or mentor of an FLL team. So that's a really great way to do FTC outreach. And another thing you can do is collaborate with other FTC teams. So hosting and attending scrimmages, volunteering at first competitions, and also like giving and receiving mentorship from like team to team. They're all like really great ways to do outreach. And it's like beneficial to your team as well. You can learn a lot of things from doing that.
So for all those coaches and parents out there, this is probably the most exciting slideshow, how to fund your FTC season. From a team, we'll say it right out there. I think in order to have a really good, solid FTC season, a good budget is about $10,000. That's what has worked for us, and we've kept it along for the years we've been doing FTC. And that's going to seem like a lot of money. But part of your outreach is being able to raise all that money. So we sort of split the 2 ways we fundraise into 2 different categories. One is earning money. So as a team, how we earn money is we teach paid classes. So we coach an FLL team and we coach the FL junior team. We also teach weekly classes and we collect fees from those classes and all those profits are going to our FTC team. And this has been really successful for us and actually funds almost all of our budget for the entire season. The second type is sponsorship/grants. So from our experience, we haven't had too much response on getting actual money. Most of our sponsorship come from donations, more like robotics companies sort of sending us parts for free or at a discount. But so sponsorships is sort of it is hard. But when to recommend you guys to really keep up the sponsorship and actually get companies interested in you, we find it's really important to keep a good branding system. For us, we're Almond Robotics, the pink team, and we like to go nuts for innovation. That's our brand. And something we've kept up for 3 years, and it's helped us keep a really good reputation, and that's really important for sponsorships. So another thing is a silly name for FTC team might be fun at competitions, but when it comes to the professional standpoint and raising money, it might not work so well. And then since we have a lot of rookie teams, here's just a little quick tip is First has a lot of sponsorships and grants for rookie teams that you just apply for. So I'll name a few like Actobotics, GoBuilda, Rev Robotics, Collins Aerospace are all companies affiliated with First that love to give out grants for rookie teams. So if you're a rookie team, all you have to do is go onto those, apply for them. And I remember our first year, we probably got like almost 2,000 worth of just applying for grants. So funding your FTC season. Yeah, so I think we might stop a little bit here to answer a couple of questions we already got on Slido.
Okay, yeah, let's just knock out a couple questions.
Yeah.
So first, on your slideshow, you say FTC is for 14 to 18-year-olds. Yeah, FTC actually does start at 12 years old. Sorry, that's a mistake in our slideshow. Yeah. Okay.
But it is recommended you start probably later.
Yeah.
At least for
yeah, it's probably better to start around high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Will the slides be available after this Zoom presentation? Yes, we'll be uploading these slides on our website, so you guys will be able to access them. What is max persons? The max amount of people on an FTC team
is 15.
Yes.
Okay, I think.
Wait, we can do like one more.
One more? Okay.
Yeah. How many people would you suggest on a team? I think a good number is around 7.
Yeah, max 7 is what we found is a good midpoint.
Yeah, because it's really like balancing. For us, we have 5 people on our team, but we're a bit on the small end. So sometimes like there'll be tasks that require a lot of people and we kind of struggle to complete them, especially at the competition. We're kind of like all over the place at the competition because we don't have that many people. But it's good to have more people that can be able to like complete tasks such as scouting. We can get into that more at the Q&A at the end. But of course, there's also the opposite end of things. Having too many people, you might have people that don't have enough things to do, and it might be kind of hard to distribute the work among too many people. So it really depends on your own balance, just finding that balance of members. But 7 is a good number.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, we'll get back into it. We'll do the rest of the Q&A at the end of the presentation.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of the structure of a general FTC season, it starts at kickoff, which is in early September. And what we usually do is at the very beginning of the season, something that's really important is strategy. So you're going to want to first come up with a strategy for what you're going to do in the whole season in terms of like robot and things you want to accomplish. And so this stage is really important, like planning. Always plan everything out before you go straight into it. And from there, it sort of becomes a cycle during the competition season where you start by designing your robot, and then you'll fabricate it, and then you do testing, practice, software development, and then you take the robot to the competition. And then from that competition, you'll be able to learn like what things do you need to improve, what things you can do better, and then you go back into the design phase and just keep improving and making changes for the next competition, and it just becomes a cycle, competition by competition. And of course, don't forget to do outreach and updating the engineering notebook. You should always be doing that. It's like equally important as the robot, maybe even more important. So definitely do not neglect outreach, do not neglect the engineering notebook.
Yeah. So here we sort of have like a little timeline. We can go into more detail later, but what we really want to emphasize here is this sort of section called the strategic analysis. It is the first 2 to 3 weeks after kickoff. So when you're developing your robot, this strategic analysis part is extremely important. So what it is sort of hands off, no building, no fabricating, nothing. You're just sitting there with your team, planning out what you think is best for your robot. And this is really hard to do because, especially at FTC, you really want to just jump right into it. But we saw all these good teams always take those first couple of weeks to sit down and just plan. Sit down and strategize what your robot is going to do. And if you do well during this stage, these first 2 to 3 weeks after kickoff, then this period here during your tournament season, you're not going to run into really big problems, and you're not going to run into the need to make any major changes, and you can use all this time to just keep making small improvements, practice and scrimmaging with other teams. And so this strategic analysis part is so extremely important. And in the long run, it will also help you save money, because you're not like making robots one after another and having to do major changes. And it was also going to save you a lot of time in the future season. And then of course, off season is a perfect time to do outreach, and you should always be doing outreach throughout the entire season. So since I know a lot of you guys are brand new to FTC, we're just going to show a quick video of an FTC match. So hopefully it makes it more clear about how an FTC game works, because it is very different from FLL. So I've got this video here. I can, oops, sorry. So this is this year's world record match. Start the video. So this part here is, you can see there are a couple robots moving. We are actually in a period called the autonomous period. So all these robots right now are moving completely autonomously. You can see this team here is really advanced. This is moving a lot during the autonomous period. And so, yeah, so there's a variety of tasks you can do during autonomous period. In this case, we had to put blocks onto what we call the foundation. I hope you guys all noticed that there are actually 4 robots on the field. FLL, you're used to just having 1 robot on the field. But FTC, you are actually going to be competing with an alliance partner. Your partner might not be someone you know. So this makes FLL pretty complicated, FTC really complicated. So this period right here is what we call a teleop period, is when you have 2 drivers that can actually control what the robot is doing. This takes up 2 minutes of the actual FTC game. So I'm going to skip over just a little bit because it is quite long. So, and then we have the last stage, which is the last 30 seconds of an FTC match. So you can see for this year, the objective is to stack as high as possible. We call this stage end game, where you have and sort of new tasks you're allowed to do. And this year's the task was to take one of your own handmade things and put it on top of the tower you just made. This was really exciting because this is a good chance to accidentally knock over your tower. That's always exciting. Yeah, so end game, and then you just have to park and the match ends there. So hopefully it makes things a little bit clear about how an FTC game really works. And then we want to go over alliance partners, because that's what really makes this FTC game a little bit complicated.
Yes. So at the actual competition, this is a big change from FLL, is you're actually going to have qualification matches and then elimination matches. And this system is a little bit complicated, but I'll try to explain. So basically, first you have 5 qualification matches. Every team will get 5 matches. And within these matches, it's all randomly generated. So each team will have a random alliance partner, and you'll be against a random alliance. And then through these qualification matches, based on the number of matches that you win, and also based on a system of tiebreaker points, each team will have a ranking. And then it will move on to alliance selection. And then during alliance selection, the top 4 teams from the rankings will be able to choose their alliances. And so those 4 teams, they'll choose from the pool of every other team who they want to be on their alliance. And then each alliance will have 3 teams actually. And then it will move on to the elimination matches. And in the elimination matches, it's played tournament style. So 4 robots at a time, and they'll do a bracket, and there'll be a winning alliance. And alliance selection is a really important part of an FTC competition, because if you're not in that top 4, you really want someone in that top 4 to choose you as their partner. So that's where it's important to be communicating with other teams, having a good reputation. and being a good alliance partner?
So this is probably something that a lot of rookie teams miss, is when you're approaching the robot game, you're always looking for what is scoring the most points. Now this seems really obvious, like of course, what's scoring the most points? We're gonna focus on that. But what First has sort of done is they take the most exciting objective of the game and they make that the least amount of points. And so you can tell that the robot driver control period is when you're actually controlling the robot. So this is, each year is usually some task that you have to repeat multiple times. In the video we showed you that task you have to repeat is keep on stacking those blocks. But you can see here, you only score 1 point for every block you bring and put on that foundation. And even though that's like the majority of the game, it's scoring you the least amount of points. And what we see a lot of rookie teams doing is that the only thing they have on the robot is to stack those things. And it's only giving you 1 point for each thing. Whereas something that's much easier, for example, during autonomous, you just have to move that big platform like a couple of feet and you get 10 points for it. 10 points. You have to deliver 10 stones in order to match that amount of points during the teleyab period. Thank you for whoever's doing the arrows. But it's 10 points. And then same thing in endgame. Moving that foundation again is just moving the foundation out from where you put it during autonomous, and then it's 15 points. And so when we look at this robot game, don't focus on that one repeating task you always have to do. I always like to say it's sort of a distractor. It's just to distract teams from where all the real points are. But yeah, so look at the points, focus on which one has the most points. It seems super obvious, but we see teams not doing this all the time. Yeah, anyway, that's the thing. So moving on to strategy. So for those in FOL, you guys don't know this whole thing about alliances, but when you have an alliance, it makes things really, really interesting. Here, I'll go back to the slide with the alliance selection. So in case you didn't understand before, that you have 5 qualification matches where you're randomly put into alliance partner. So you'll be given a random alliance partner. And you'll have to compete with them. And what makes things interesting is that even if you don't do well in your qualification matches, as long as during alliance selection, a team picks you, then you can go to the elimination matches, which means you don't have to be the best robot out there to make it into the eliminations. You just have to play. You just have to play to be the top team's best alliance partner, so they'll pick you. So I'm going to show this quick video of a really good example of a rookie team, what many of you may be. I'll skip to the middle of the video. A rookie team with one of the world's best robots. So if we take a look at this blue alliance here, we have a rookie team. It's a really simple robot here. But what they're doing is a really important job, actually. So they're bringing these stones and they're giving them to the highest stacking, to the best robot here. There's a little bit of mishap there, but this is actually really important for this stacking robot over here. They really needed a alliance partner that can save the time of driving all the way to the other side of the field and delivering these stones. And you can see their robot is basically just 4 wheels, but they're with the highest stacking robot and they're able to really suit their needs. So as you can see, they're doing really, really well. I love this video. It's so funny, but it's such a good example of how this rookie team played super well and how they really focused on delivering these stones to the highest stacking robot. And I wouldn't be surprised if this high stacking robot chose them during this tournament to be in the elimination rounds. So anyway, big takeaway, if you can't be the best robot, be the best robot partner. So play it smart. Play it smart. Okay, so that's about it for our presentation. We do have some extra things we can talk about, but I think if you want to talk about these things, please ask them in Slido. We are gonna go to Slido and start asking questions now. So if everyone has questions, please come to Slido. And here, actually, I'll present the Slido thing up here.
Okay, cool. So it seems we actually have a lot of questions about alliance partners. So the alliance partners for the qualification matches, these will be announced to you during the competition in the morning. So you'll get a sheet with a schedule, and the schedule will have a list of every match and who you're gonna be with and who you're gonna be against for every match. And it's randomized, so each match you'll have a different alliance partner and you'll be against a different enemy. And for example, like they say this in the video, but your alliance partner for one match could be your opponent in another match. And so yeah, it's different alliance partners in each match. And
let's go to the most popular ones.
Oh yeah, most popular.
Okay, so let's go with this question. Any suggestions for inexpensive / free CAD that is suitable for FTC? Yes, so we use this software called Onshape. It is a free software, and it's a web-based CADing software. We've been using it for the past 2 years. It's called Onshape. It's a web-based CADing software. It's very suitable for FTC, especially because it has sort of live sharing. It's kind of like Google Docs, but for CAD. So you can have multiple team members working on the same thing at the same time. And there's also a bunch of libraries on Onshape that has like the parts, FTC parts already put in there, and you can download it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, so Onshape, yeah, it's really good, totally free.
That's the only one we use.
Yeah,
so.
that was recommended to us by another team.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you send out links for applying to rookie grants? Yes, we can direct you to a lot of companies. Mostly these are companies that are sponsoring first. If they're sponsoring first, there's a really good chance that they'll be willing to sponsor you as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we can put out the links on our website too. Would you recommend middle school FTC team?
So in Michigan, actually all of their teams are from middle school. So it's definitely able to pull off. We've never seen in Maryland, like where we are, we don't really see that many middle school FTC teams, but we'll definitely recommend it because I mean, the longer you do FTC, the better you're going to get at it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I started in middle school. So did Samuel, our CAD lead. And like it's definitely able to pull off. I think the thing that really determines how good your team is how hard you work. Mm-hmm. Like if you're willing to put in the time and put in those hours, then you're definitely going to be a good team.
Yeah.
And
it's all about improving.
That, yeah, we have a lot of questions about that actually. How many hours do you put in per week in FTC?
Okay. That is so I think if you're on an FLL team, you will understand that we start off slow in the beginning of the season, but then when a tournament comes, it's like a lot of hours. So I'm talking like, what is it? Like 3 hours, like every day,
every single day,
like 20 hour weeks, like after school. It's FTC is a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to be prepared for that, but it's also such a great opportunity to be exposed to the real world that all these hours you're putting in is not only worth it for now, but it's worth it for the rest of your life.
Yes, and it's fun. It's fun to work a lot of hours in FTC. Yes, and just working on the robot. For us, this goes back to like the concept of planning and then actually fabricating. So actually building our robot took maybe 2 weeks because we had spent so much time designing it in CAD before we built it. We spent like at least like a month, 2 months designing it. And then when it came time to actually build it, that was maybe like 2 weeks. And it was like, we already knew what we were going to build because it was all on the CAD. But then the like testing and like improving that stage, that lasts until the very end of the season, like making small tweaks throughout all the testing. That's like, in terms of hours, I'm not really sure, but it's kind of like a gradual process. But if you plan it out well, it's gonna be like, it should follow the timeline.
Okay, I really like this question. So if you're put together with a potato team, you're basically screwed. Well, it's not completely true. It depends on how good you are as a team, and depends on what level of tournament you're at. So if you're at one of the lower tournaments, like the qualification tournaments, it really doesn't matter, because in the end, even if you're not in the top 4, the good teams are going to end up in the elimination matches, because the top 4 teams that consistently did well, and then they're going to choose the other good teams. Mm-hmm. So if you have displayed that you're a good team, that you can be a good alliance partner, you're going to end up in the elimination matches, even if your qualification matches didn't do well.
Yes. And also you have 5 matches. That's 5 chances to show your skills. So it's okay if your robot fails in one match. I mean, like, we've had competitions where our robots failed in like every match, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this also, something I want to mention is scouting. So scouting is something that every team should do at a competition. And it's basically where you have like a couple of your team members, you like dispatch a couple of team members to basically go around the whole competition and interview all the other teams and watch all the other teams as they're doing their matches, and basically report back, how are the other teams doing. So the good teams will have scouters watching you, and they'll see like, oh, this team can do this and this, and they'll know if you're a good match for them. So it's like, that's a good way. Even if your alliance partner isn't doing so well, they'll be watching like your team specifically.
Yeah. So you'll end up, if you have a good robot, you'll end up in elimination matches, unless you're like extremely persuasive. I know there are some teams out there that are super persuasive. They have like okay robots, but like their team members are just really out there, and they get into the elimination matches. So that's where, your reputation comes in, your brand comes in. If you're a pink team, you already have some reputation. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so if you put together a potato team, no, you are not basically screwed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you recommend Mecanum wheels? So this is all depends on the season. Like, for the next season, kickoff has not happened yet, so we're not going to know what the field is going to look like. And this is why this is something that your team should decide during the strategy phase and the design phase, whether you want to use Mecanum wheels or not, because it depends on whatever the game is. Because like Mecanum wheels, they're not so good if you have to like go over a big bump or something like that.
We might want to explain what a Mecanum wheel is.
Oh yeah.
So there are these specific kind of wheels that you can actually put on your robot that allows your robot to move side to side and forward and backwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a pretty popular wheel choice.
Okay, well we can show you. They're over on that shelf. Well, we can do that later. But it's sort of it all depends Google on the season.
Of a Mecanum wheel. Sam, we couldn't have gotten the actual Mecanum wheels.
Here's some Mecanum wheels.
Yes.
So they're like this, and you put 4 of them on your robot, and then you can go side to side.
Yes. But it back to the question, it all depends on the season, so we really can't answer that right now.
Yeah, that's why you have to have that strategic period. Remember that strategic period after kickoff to really focus on what kind of robot you want.
Okay. Practicing using the Xbox controller. So actually, we do not use the Xbox controller. We use a Logitech controller, but there are teams that use the Xbox one. It doesn't really matter. But practicing, we highly recommend that you guys do driver practice. So driver practice is really important. Basically, your 2 drivers, you should have 2 people on your team that play the role of the driver, and they should practice driving the robot. Once it's built, they should practice a lot, because the more you practice, the better you're gonna be. So definitely driver practice is really important. Okay.
Cool. Okay, off-season competitions. So that is a good point. So unfortunately, this year, of course, most of the competitions were canceled. But what happens is after the state championships, there are couple of off-season competitions, like invitationals, that you can participate in even after your state competition.
Yes.
So one of those is Maryland has one called the Maryland Tech Invitational. It's a competition you can go to and prepare for like in June. Like the competition's in June. So this is something we recommend to a team who wants to keep motivated even after their season has ended, is to join an off-season competition.
Yeah, so these are unofficial. They're not like actual FIRST competitions. They're organized by they're organized out of FIRST, and they're like worldwide competitions. But yeah, they're a really cool experience if you're looking for something to do over the summer, get a little practice for actually what a competition is going to be like. They're a good way. You do have to apply to get in though.
Yeah.
So there is an application for that. The first Dean's List is an award that's given to students that are, they embody the ideals of FIRST. And you can nominate members from your own team to be Dean's List semifinalists. And then you have to do an interview. And
so there'll be each year. There's 3 Maryland Dean's List finalists. And then we'll then compete at the World Championships for 10 spots at the Worlds to be a Dean's List winner.
How complicated would odometry be? We don't actually do odometry. We're planning to learn that over the summer.
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't really answer. We don't really know.
Yeah, we have not done it yet.
Yeah.
What type of tutorials? Sam, you want to answer that?
You want to come here and answer that?
Our CAD lead.
So for tutorials to learn CAD, I don't really remember like using that many tutorials, but there are resources online that can help you. But really, it's just like messing around with stuff and gaining the experience.
Yeah, and then I think this is a good time to point out how important mentors are, because we do have mentors that come and specifically help us with CAD, and that's how we were able to learn so quickly, because we can, since CAD is all online, we can just send a file over to our mentors and then get some suggestions from that.
Okay, and we already answered this question. The answer is in the morning at the competition.
Yeah.
Okay, is GoBuilda? Yeah, GoBuilda is a pretty good system. The one thing that I would warn you about is that GoBuilda uses metric, whereas like Actobotics does not. So they're not very easily compatible. It can be done, but it's a little bit difficult. So I would recommend like choosing one of the robot kits to build your drivetrain out of, either GoBuilda or Actobotics, and going from there.
Yeah, I think we should explain again what GoBuilda is, because so GoBuilda is just a kit system. It's just like an FLL, the kit system is Lego, but there are different systems that you can use to build your robot. One of them is GoBuilda. I think if you are attending one of the later workshops, they'll probably talk more into all those kind of things. But for that specific person who's asking if GoBuilda is a good robot platform, I feel like it's getting a lot more popular than the other systems now.
Yeah,
because it has a lot more cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they just came up with it like last year, but it's definitely gaining popularity.
Oh, also all FTC teams get a 20% discount on their items.
Yes.
So apply for that.
Okay, holonomic or Mecanum wheelbase. So this again is similar to the question, would you recommend Mecanum wheels? It all depends on what season it is. There's advantages to each one. So that's something that you should take a look at once kickoff starts and you're gonna be doing a little bit strategy.
Okay, I like this question too. Can you be my mentor?
Of course. Yes,
Good job.
Yes.
This is called networking. This person already knows what to do. Of course, we could be your mentor. Please contact us at our email. Yes.
Okay. Judging sessions in FTC. There's only one judging session in FTC. It's 10 minutes long. And you'll basically have a 5-minute presentation and then 5 minutes question and answer. And the question and answer encompasses everything.
Yeah.
So yes,
so
only one judging session.
That's
Yay.
when your engineering notebook comes really important because.
Yeah. Okay. So you have the judging interview, which is 10 minutes long, and then you'll leave your notebook with them. And then the judges will have time to look at your notebook and they'll return it to you at the end of the day. And also if the judges are particularly interested and they want to nominate you for a specific award, they can come up to you when you're in the pits and you'll have a pit interview. And yeah, so that's like extra judging.
Yeah.
We kind of gotta hurry. We have a lot of questions. Okay.
Yeah, okay. We have like maybe 2 more minutes to spend on questions.
Yeah, okay.
If you have any more questions, you can just email us.
Of course. We'll be really happy to answer that. Mm-hmm. Android phones more or less reliable? This all depends on how you put the phone on your robot. Of course, there are a lot of issues with phones getting disconnected, but there are a lot of ways to mitigate this. Like if, for example, like I've seen teams that like just like basically tape their phone onto their robot. So obviously it's not going to be reliable if you attach it like that. But if you have secure attachment and good wiring, good electronic management, the phones are going to be very reliable. So yeah,
there are a lot more problems on FTC robots with wiring and things. But if you're talking about like how accurate the robot is, FTC robots are way more accurate. I know in FLL, the robots like curve and like do whatever they want to do. So if that's what you're asking, FTC robots are more accurate.
Yeah. SolidWorks. We have not used SolidWorks, so we can't really answer that. It's good, according to our CAD lead. Should we use Java or block programming? This depends on your experience with programming. If you have team members that know Java, definitely go for it, use Java. But if you feel like blocks are a little bit more suited to your team, like, go ahead.
Yeah, and you can do everything you can do in Java with block programming. So if you're an FLL team, and you're used to the block programming already, do block programming. It's so much easier. We did that our rookie year, and we got all the basics down, and then transitioning to Java afterwards was not a difficult task.
Oh my gosh, we have so many questions.
So unfortunately, we can't really go through, I think we can go through 2 more questions, and then we have a couple other things to say afterwards. So
yeah. Okay.
So let's just keep going through these. Is the same lines throughout all 5 matches?
We answered that one. It's a different lines. Yeah. Okay. Do you use calculus? That depends on what your programmer wants to do. I know, our programmer Ronnie, he does use calculus. It can all be learned though. It's, there's a lot of resources online to learn this stuff. So yes. And like, of course, like it's not a requirement at all.
Yeah. And I mean, calculus, easy, you know, right?
Okay. And in order to compete out of state, you can only advance through your first 3 competitions. So you can't just like go to like as many competitions as you want, really. If you're trying to advance to state, you can only advance through the first 3 competitions that you go to. So for example, you can go to like 2 competitions in Maryland and then like 1 competition in like Virginia, which is what we did. So yeah, and then in order to do that, you need to contact, you need to contact the coordinators from that state. And
so unfortunately, I think we're running out of time because this will.
Sorry.
Yeah, if you have any more questions, I think.
But the Zoom meeting.
I think our Zoom meeting actually ends strictly at 2:00.
Yeah.
So, one last thing we want to talk about is, since this is our first time, we would really appreciate if everybody filled out our survey form. We sent a survey form in the last email, but right before this workshop. If you could please take some time and just give us some advice on how we can improve this first online, and hopefully we can bring way more workshops to everybody in the future.
And your other questions, you can ask them through email, social media. Like, we're totally willing to answer. We're really sorry we weren't able to get to all the questions.
Yeah, and also we'll have another workshop this Thursday.
Oh, yes.
So maybe hop in at the end. You can ask some more questions.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming.
Yeah. Yay. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. We are really excited to do this again Thursday. And please make sure to hop in some of the other workshops we have later this week. We have other really experienced teams out there that have a lot of important things to share. And also our panel discussions. I think this might be the first time you'll be able to talk directly to our FTC referees, our FTC judges, judge advisors actually, and some coaches as well. So if you're a coach, maybe hop into the panel discussion. I know we have seats left for that. Mm-hmm. Some other ones are full already.
Wait, it's 2:00 and Zoom is not kicking us out.
I guess you guys can keep.
Okay, if the Zoom meeting doesn't shut down at strictly at 2, then we.
I mean, it's not too.
Okay, so from what we heard is a Zoom.
You didn't get the survey. Somebody said you cannot receive the survey. You just receive the survey.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm gonna need to find the survey.
We can send it out to everyone.
Yeah, we'll have to send. We'll send the survey form after this workshop, as well as the recording and the slideshow. So thank you so much again, everybody, for coming. Please, if you're interested and you thought this was really helpful, tell us in the survey form, and then also go take a look at what other workshops we have to offer this week.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.